I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahushai B'Shem HaRakakwadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders which rule Great Millstone Well, and Shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure unto the end. Shalom wa Abba Babal. Alright, so I was on this platform, TikTok, and I came across this on the live, and it's it's almost 2nd Ezra 15. This woman was taking a shower, getting ready to go get her daughter from school, and she said she heard like 20 gunshots. She says she's in Chicago. This happened today. And I'll let her explain it, all right? I'll let her explain the whole story.
His wife, and when he did so, the police had just pulled up. They're trying to arrest the guy because his wife called him crying because of the shooting, and he came with his Glock to protect his wife, and they're trying to take him because he don't have no gun. And I'm telling these officers, I was this close to taking my husband's gun that I don't even have a permit for. I don't even have a permit for the gun, but I was this close to taking it because they don't understand what we got.
And if I can say, this is why we do not believe in the gun. The gun will not save you. All right? I will not trust See, Psalms 44 verse 6, I will not trust in my bow, neither shall my sword save me. Alright, which this lady, I believe she is an Israelite, alright, of the Northern Kingdom. Like she said, she's in Chicago, and her husband got a gun at the house, but she's not got a license for it. And she's the one that called the cops. She said, I'm sure all the people around there called the cops, but there was pretty much a gang shootout in the street in front of her house, and the husband came home trying to be a Superman for his woman and got himself locked up. And a gun charge is serious. A gun charge will send your ass to prison, and when you go to prison, only the Lord knows if you're going to make it out or become a lifer, because you got to do some things in prison to survive, So, this is why you don't want to trust in the bow, the gun, or the sword, which is the gun. The sword, whether you carry a gun or a knife, it's not going to save you. In fact, it's to get you in trouble most of the time, because the Negro, Latino, and Native American Indian, which have been scattered throughout the world in slavery, are slaves. All right? That's why they could shoot a so-called black man, even though he has a gun permit in his pocket. He's reaching to get it, and they blow his ass away. And then they parade the cops or even actors on the news as they're supposedly trying to investigate. All right? So, don't trust in the gun. All right? And don't trust in any physical thing to save you. Trust in Yahweh Shem Yahushai. The woman has to trust in her husband. The Lord of the woman is her husband. The woman's salvation is through her husband. All right? That's what most women don't want to understand, being, the Israelite women. Israelites are the most hard-headed, stiff-necked people, all right, starting with the woman, because sin came through the woman, starting with Eve, all right? Let's see. It's 1 Timothy. See right here, I'll get this here. It says in verse 11, let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. For Adam was first formed, then Eve. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. And that shows you the difference between the men and the women. The woman is calling for 911, panicking, and the woman that had a husband, she called her husband, and he came to her rescue. Now, he got himself in trouble not having a license, a permit for his gun. All right? That's why you want to be an upstanding citizen, to the best of your ability, walking in this truth. But now when they come with the draconian law of making it mandatory that you have to put something inside your body so that you can make transactions, so that you could buy or sell, that's an abomination. Reject that. All right? It says, and Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. And that woman almost got herself fucked up. She said she was thinking about grabbing her husband's gun and going out there. And you know what? She could have got shot. She could have got caught without the gun, having a permit. She could have went to prison for that shit. All right. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith and charity and holiness and sobriety. So I went into this woman's, page afterward, and she's a stripper. She's trying to live the life of Cardi B. All right. So actually, she's gonna face a great death. If she's not of the ones that are gonna repent, including her husband, her children. All right, because 2/3 of the nation of Israel are cut off, and they're gonna be left here to die. And this is gonna be a horrible place to die, because you're gonna have the greatest judgment carried out here. It's gonna start with famine, sword, death, and then destruction, nuclear destruction. All right. Did you hear that? You don't know what we have to go through to deal with these men. See? She had to call the cops 5 times because she thinks the cops are going to save her. But in fact, the Lord gave her, supposed to give her a husband, right? But she rejects, because if you're a stripper, guess what? You have many husbands. And even the one you have, because of your mentality, all right, you're going to choose the worst for you. That's why women choose the worst for themselves. They always go after what they call the bad guy, all right, the good for nothing. Because in reality, a father is the one that's supposed to prearrange the daughter's marriage. And she's supposed to be married at a young age. She's not supposed to be married when, at 30, and then she already got 5 kids from, 4 different guys. All right? She's supposed to be married as soon as she gets her period, which is a young age. That's when she becomes a woman. All right? That's why her body does that, is because that's the science the Lord put there to show that she's ready to bear children. But in Esau's wicked-ass society, he allows these young women to be whores. At 14, they could have all kinds of sex with different men on lunch breaks. Then they go into the colleges and get broken out. And then they go to the work or into the military, and they get tossed and turned and flipped. And then they finally want to settle down at 36, right? And like I said, they usually have kids out of wedlock, all right? Which, in reality, a man is supposed to have multiple wives. He ain't supposed to just be dealing with one demanding, foolish woman, But that's what this society provides, all right? Because it is ran by the wicked. The wicked is the so-called white man. And that's why they didn't call. She called 911 5 times. They didn't go because they're the ones controlling these gangs. All right, look up the story of Fast and Furious, the U.S. government. All right, they be dropping guns off in the alleys of Chicago, L.A. All right, even here in Colorado, in the main cities of Denver. All right, I've seen it with my own eyes. The drug dealers they're actually being protected by the police. All right, so don't be stupid and go down to Egypt for help, and then look what you do. And then she cursed herself.
They don't understand what we gotta go through to deal with these men. I called the police 5 times. They're arresting this guy because he came to protect his wife. He left work with his gun and he came here, and we live in a dead end, so he had to get through my car and the Amazon car.
She don't even have a husband. She has a baby daddy. See? But see, these women are so foolish that even their men that they actually have are going to die, all right? Because they marry foolish men, and those foolish men are going to lead them into death. The blind leading the blind shall surely fall into the same pit. It says in 2 Ezra 16, verse, I believe it's about 30. It says 33, the virgins shall mourn having no bridegrooms. So a lot of these women, they don't even have a husband. The women shall mourn having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn having no helpers. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. Hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of the Lord. Which, that's what we're doing. We're understanding, and that's why we're putting out these videos to edify the Israelites. All right, them that have the ear to hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. Repent, because the so-called white man, the red devil, is about to come down with great wrath, and that's why he's pulling away resources from the public. This is going to cause more of that violent, all right, pack-like mentality, where you're going to get a whole purge. All right, they're going to purge these cities. All right, it's in the prophecies that it's never even been seen what America's cities are about to witness and live through. And these women are going to be number one target. First of all, there are more of them. They're stupid. They're weak. All right, because what makes them even, they're a weak vessel. And I'm not talking about that weakness, because they're supposed to be feminine, soft, quiet. They're supposed to be gentle, all right, delicate. What I'm talking about is that they're weak, meaning that they think they don't need a man, and that's what makes them weak, is they don't got a man, or they're living, a wicked life. Even if they got a man, they're sleeping with a bunch of different men. They're talking to a whole bunch of different men. That's judgment. That's a death sentence. All right, these virgins, even now, you think of this generation, they all got phones. They got free pornos. This is the most wicked generation. All right. I guarantee you, I don't care even if it's a young girl. Most of these young girls are defiled. In fact, let me get what that says in that Isaiah 4. Because that's a good point that the brother always brings out. Isaiah 4:1. And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name, to take away our reproach. So this is going to happen to the men of the Lord, because we're going to be okay. We're going to be eating and drinking. We're going to be safe. All right, we're even going to be doing miracles by the power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. For the testimony of Yahushai is dealing with us. We're going to be doing the miracles by the power of Yahweh to testify of Yahushai. All right, and these women, these Israelite women, because salvation is only for the Israelites. These Israelite women they're already preordained, but when it happens, they're going to see what's going on and actually, awake to their position of being an Israelite woman, call upon Yahweh Hashem Yosai, and he's going to lead them into salvation through being married to an elect man. And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name, which is sex. Marriage is sex. What you know as a marriage ceremony now, that's all created by man's tradition. All right, the true marriage is when a man breaks a woman's hymen. All right, after she gets her period, you don't touch her while she's on her period. You let her go through a cleansing time, but then after that, you're able to take her and have sex with her. Which sex goes back to 6, to cut the scissors. All right, that's why scissors are in the shapes of 6s, because when you cut, all right, you actually cut into a woman when you cut her hymen with your rod, and that causes her to bleed, which that blood would be on a sheet, and that would be your wedding certificate that you took her virginity. That would be given to her father and mother as a token that they could show that their daughter was pure when they gave her to her husband. All right, but today you don't even get that. Majority of men, they get women that's they've seen every size that you can't even surprise these women. You know, they've done everything. They've they man. I've seen women in my own life, just going through every day, just running into these women and talking with them. Man, there's women that are cold as stone. They could, do 6, 10 dudes in a day and not even give a fuck and go home and kiss their baby daddy on the mouth and act like a little housewife. You know what I'm saying? I've seen some fucking, and I'm sure everybody else has in this wicked society, Even your own personal family members are caught up in that wicked way of life because the world is ran by the wicked. The so-called white man is the wicked. All right? But now, let me get the translation comparison on this. And it says right here, look, that's a good one there. It says in the NLT for contrast, it says, in that day, so few men will be left that 7 women will fight for each man, saying, let us all marry you, which is not 7 women literally. It's a completion of number of women. Some brothers may have 100 women. Some men maybe only 3 or 4 or 5. It's all according to the Lord's will, but we're all gonna have multiple women. All right, and their way of salvation is being married to us, to the hopeful elect. All right, and they're gonna have one husband, and that's gonna be it. All right, it says, saying we will eat. It says, let us all marry you. See, so let us all marry you. They all need salvation, and this is the way of salvation because this is the way of life. All right, saying, let us all marry you. We will provide our own food and clothing. Only let us take your name so we won't be mocked as old maids for not being married. All right, there's an actual one that actually says that, for not being married. Well, let me see. Slovakia. Alright, so I didn't see it there, the one that the brother reads, but it pretty much just says about being married. Alright, but I did see a couple different ones that in the translations give you a more detailed view of it. It says, DBY translation for Isaiah 4 verse 1. And 7 women shall take hold of one man in that day, saying, our own bread will we eat, and with our own garments will we be clothed. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. Alright. Go down. It's NIV. In that day, 7 women will take hold of one man and say, "Will we eat our own food and provide our own clothes? Only let us be called by your name. Take away our disgrace." Let's see. NET. 7 women will grab hold of one man at that time. They will say, "We will provide our own food and we will provide our own clothes, but let us belong to you to take away our shame." Alright? So they're going to cleave to the men of the Lord to save them from their shame. Okay? The rest of these women are going to die in their shame. Alright? Because that's their lot and their rebelliousness.
This close to having a pistol at me, so you're telling me you would have arrested me for trying to protect myself? You're trying to, go get my kid in peace? Man, that poor lady, man. That poor fucking lady, you see? Don't tell me to get off live. Don't tell me to get off live. Don't fucking tell me to get